With the progress that has been achieved in the last 50 years, most patients with hemophilia who live in countries with developed economies now receive a quality of care that allows them to live near normal lives. This has been achieved with great effort, and it is important that it be recognized, sustained, and further improved.
It's hard for me to talk about what life would be like without hemophilia. It's all I've ever known since I was diagnosed at a very young age. There's been a lot of hard times with hemophilia, but there's been a lot of benefits as well. I've had lots of opportunities to meet new friends, to get involved in my community, and work on other skills that I don't think I would have had the chance to without hemophilia, like empathy.
I think my life would be really different if I did not have hemophilia. Leading a normal person's life is something that we all dream of, because obviously nobody wants to share the kind of pain and problems that we go through.
Vaibhav and Paul are not alone. They are two of the approximately 400,000 people worldwide affected by hemophilia. Haemophilia A is a rare genetic disorder that impacts the ability of a person's blood to clot properly because the body does not produce enough of or is missing clotting factor 8. The body depends on this clotting factor to stop bleeding after injury and to promote healing. While Vaibhav and Paul both have severe hemophilia A, their daily lives are very different, as they both had to learn how to manage their condition based on the level of resources available in their respective countries.
A typical day for me with hemophilia is quite cautious and challenging, because I have to always be prepared and always be kind of careful about not getting hurt and not developing a bleed. And you got to go to an important class and you develop a bleed, and you gotta take painkillers and go along.
When I came to know that Vaibhav is the hemophilia, we were not knowing anything about hemophilia, and we have to educate ourselves to help Vaibhav. We have got educated by Hemophilia Society and by the army doctors.
And in school there are many problems Vaibhav had faced, because in first or second class children did not understand the position of my son. Gradually children understand the problem.
Ever since I was a little child, I was not allowed to participate in a lot of activities that were physically tough or physically challenging, because there was always a risk of me developing a bleed or getting hurt.
When Vaibhav was 15 years old, he was hospitalized for 4 months. I was working, I was teaching in school, and I left Vaibhav at the home, and I was very concerned because no one was at the home and he can remain alone.
Emotionally, the impact of hemophilia, I would say, has been even more lasting, because there are times when you feel really frustrated, there are times when you feel left out of the crowd, and there are times when you feel isolated. I try to stay as connected with the local hemophilia society as much as possible. And I've made many friends who are people with hemophilia through the society itself, and it's kind of better because these are people who know what I feel like, and we've got a mutual experience of life.
Vaibhav has been getting fairly regular factor. That's why his disabilities are much less, though his joints are also not in a shape that they should be. He has synovitis in 3 major joints, and the muscles are pretty weak, so he still needs to work on this.
I manage hemophilia by treatment with on-demand factor 8 infusion whenever I need it, and I visit my local comprehensive hemophilia treatment centers whenever needed.
There are many other persons with hemophilia who are not that lucky, who have no access to these facilities and unlimited factor availability. So they end up with a lot more disabilities because they are not treated adequately.
I'm very hopeful about my future and about my career, I'm expecting my career to be very hectic and strenuous, but I think that with proper medical care and proper prevention, I'll be able to cope.
As a person with hemophilia, it's important for me to do the things that I've learned at a young age, like taking my factor concentrate and knowing my limitations. Although hemophilia poses its challenges for me, I'm still able to lead a relatively normal life.
When Paul was diagnosed, we were very frightened, and we went through typical stages of change and of receiving bad news. First, we didn't believe it. Then we wondered, we kind of fretted, why us? And we felt very sorry for ourselves. And then quickly moved into, this is it, what do we need to do, how can we learn and care for Paul as best we can so he will be safe and have a good quality of life. At first, when you're the caregiver and responsible for your children, it's pretty easy. You can protect them within their own home, you're there to constantly watch them. But then suddenly, you have to find a sitter so you can go to work. You have to then send your child off to go to school, and then you're dealing with other people, and so you have to do your very best to educate them, but not to scare them.
I learned to do self-infusion probably at the age of 9 at camp. It gave me a lot of independence. That was the first step, kind of going from a boy to being an adult. I'm very grateful though that as a teenager, the treatment team and my parents both encouraged me to take more responsibility and be more informed so that I could eventually advocate for myself.
Paul has severe factor VIII deficiency, so we see him annually for his comprehensive care visit, where he'll see the hematologist, the physiotherapist, the social worker, and the member of the Haemophilia Society, as well as the nurse coordinator. With treatment options that are available today and a strong connection with the comprehensive care team, families of children with hemophilia can expect that their children will live a healthy life.
Now, as I've grown into an adult, I realize the importance of my overall health to my hemophilia care as well. So doing things like exercising and eating properly have become more important to me. My goals for the future are to go back to school and do a master's degree or teacher's college. I hope to teach at the high school or university level one day. Hope to keep on working with the Haemophilia Society in some way, and eventually I want to start a family of my own.
As we've seen with Vaibhav and Paul, thanks to advances in bleeding disorder care, including comprehensive care, clinical experience, and factor replacement therapies, people are living longer, more fulfilling lives than ever before. However, great disparities still exist, as most people with bleeding disorders do not have access to adequate care.
When I was a little child, the kind of treatment available was nowhere close to what it is today. I really hope that the hemophilia community in India and around the world get proper access to proper comprehensive care and treatment so that they can manage their conditions better.
To improve the standard of care, several issues need to be addressed. First, we need to develop and strengthen advocacy organizations that work to educate people with hemophilia, their care providers, and the broader community, and also allocate resources for training healthcare professionals in the management of this condition. It is equally important to engage with local governments so that they make hemophilia care a priority and then allocate adequate resources for clotting factor concentrates for therapy.
The ultimate goal for people with bleeding disorders is to find a cure. In the meantime, we need to remain vigilant about ensuring we have a high quality of life, and not only where I'm from, but for everybody around the world.
It is the central mission of the World Federation of Hemophilia to promote and sustain better diagnosis and comprehensive care for these people all over the world. We need to continue our efforts to provide treatment for all.
Visit WFH.org/TFA series for more information on hemophilia and how you can help.